Good morning and welcome to this morning's reflection. We read in Psalm 139, verses 13 to 14. You formed my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Our souls know this to be true. We are created by God, for God. We are a unique creation. There is no one else like you. However, we abandon this unique creation. We leave it behind. We move on from it. We leave behind our early knowledge of who we truly are. Knowledge of this inner core is what stops us from reducing ourselves to mere biological organisms, or psychological projections, or sociological constructs. Because when we do that, we diminish our humanity. The soul, that inner space where God dwells, keeps us rooted, and it resists the tendency of the ego to uproot us from who we are. The soul connects us to community in which we find life. If we are to thrive, we will only do so in relationships with others, in relationships that make us feel safe. Right from day one, our inner world is assailed by deforming forces. Forces that come from within and forces that come from without. Forces such as racism, sexism, economic injustice, and other social cancers. Things such as jealousy, resentment, self-doubt, fear, and the other demons of our inner lives change us and deform our inner world. And we often try to blame external forces for the problems of our inner world. But we need to see that we often conspire with these external forces. For every external power that tries to bend us out of shape, there is a potential collaboration within us. For example, when our inner impulse to be honest is completely thwarted by the threats of punishment that might result if we are honest. In other words, people might not like it. Then it is because we value our security more than we value our honesty. When the impulse to side with the weak in society is thwarted by threats of lost social acceptance, it is because we value popularity over being a pariah. The powers and principalities of this world would hold less power if we refuse to collaborate with them. But refusal is a risky business. So we deny our own truth and we betray ourselves. But God calls us back time and again to our birthright, back to lives that are connected and grounded. But to do this, we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention to God and to our inner world. If we fail to pay attention, we end up living soulless lives. Now, there are two aspects of our culture that stop us from attending to God. And these aspects are secularism and moralism. Secularism, because it does not acknowledge that we are created by God. And moralism, because it sees all concern with the self as selfish. The strongest evidence that we are not just social constructs, but indeed are uniquely created souls, uniquely created children of God, comes about when we see what happens when we try to live as if we have no soul, as if we have no inner world, as if there is no Creator God. One consequence of this can be depression. Depression has many causes, but one of them is to bury our true selves, to bury our souls, and to disconnect from our Creator. So if you want to change your life, then choose to live divided no more. And my prayer then for you and for me this week is that we would truly accept that we are unique, created by God, and that life moves us away from God's original creation as we've sought to become someone else, someone more acceptable. And so my prayer then is that we would come home to the very person that God created us to be. Amen.